Thank you, Mary, for the introduction. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Annie. I am a junior here at Penn. As Mary mentioned, I'm the co-president of Wharton Analytics Fellows, which is a program that brings together undergrads, MSCs, and MBA students to tackle complex business challenges for different companies using data science. And I'm really excited to present to you all today the analytics our team performed for the Philadelphia Orchestra and the Kimmel Center. So this is my team for the project, and Kang is actually here today in the audience. And to start us off with a quick little overview, the data sets we analyze includes customer profiles, customer purchases, and email marketing. And our main goal for this project is to analyze ways to optimize email marketing and to improve customer engagement to ultimately drive value. And there are three main questions that we tackle through this project. One is building a customer on subscription model. Two is determining the optimal email sending schedule and strategies. And three, creating customer segmentations to best target each customer group. So starting off with our unsubscription model. This is a sample for what our model looks like, essentially by taking in features related to customer behavior, such as the number of clicks, number of opens, or the average amount of purchases, as well as features related to customer profile, such as the age of the customer, the types of show that they like. This model is able to predict in the next month, will this customer unsubscribe or not? Now, this information is really useful because Kimmel could essentially run this model on their internal customer database and get the list of customers who have a very high chance of unsubscribing. And then they could really focus their efforts on trying to retain those customers. And this is the list of features that we incorporated in our model. This involved a lot of cleaning and feature engineering so that we could make sure that our features are in its best, most useful shape for our model. And we tried a few different models, including Decision Tree, Random Forest, and XGBoost. And XGBoost turned out to be our best performing model. And this is a confusion matrix showing the performance of our model. And one unique good thing about this model is that, as we can see, the model is doing very well on the false negatives. The false negative, it means that customers are actually going to unsubscribe, but the model incorrectly predicts it as not going to unsubscribe. So as you can imagine, this type of error is a lot more severe than the other way around. So our model is doing really well in that case. And another important application of our unsubscription model is to understand which features are the most important when it comes to determining whether if a customer will unsubscribe or not. And this is where we bring in SHAP values, which essentially measures how much each feature contributes to our model prediction. So essentially, the higher its absolute value, the more importance it plays in our model. So as we can see from this graph, the most important features are actually related to customer behavior, such as did they click on the emails and the amount of purchases they made, rather than the underlying customer characteristics, such as their age. So now let's dive a step further and try to understand some of those most important variables. So this graph might seem a bit complicated at first glance, but essentially the left-hand side of the horizontal axis means less likely to unsubscribe, whereas the right-hand side means more likely to unsubscribe. So on the vertical color spectrum, it represents the variable values, where red indicates a higher value variable, where blue represents a lower value variable. So if we look at the feature on the very top, the number of clicks this month, we can see from this graph that a higher number of clicks this month is actually correlated with a higher likelihood of unsubscribing. Now, this is very counterintuitive. So you're telling me that the customers who actually click through my emails are the ones unsubscribing? Well, it's important to know that our model is capturing correlation, not causation. So it's not saying that clicking on emails causes customers to unsubscribe. But instead, it's simply separating the people who have some interactions with our email from those who just ignore our emails completely. Then if we look at the next feature, the number of email opens, this is a little bit more nuanced. Essentially, we can see that the blue and the red points are grouped towards the left, meaning that having a high number of opens or a low number of opens are both correlated with a lower chance of unsubscribing. Whereas the purple, for people who are somewhere in the middle, this group people have the highest likelihood of unsubscribing. Now this captures a very interesting trend. Essentially, the low number of email opens correlates or indicates a dormant customer, whereas the high number of opens indicates an engaged customer. And both of these customer types are not likely to unsubscribe because they either just ignore our emails or they just love us so much that they'll continue to stick with us. Now, the people in the middle are really the ones who has the highest likelihood of unsubscribing. And now let's take a look at features related to past customer behavior, such as their past opens, past number of purchases, etc. And we can see that customers who has been engaging with us for the past 3 to 5 months are less likely to unsubscribe, whereas the new customers are more likely to unsubscribe. So after all of those analyses, we can summarize everything into 3 patterns. So first, we have the dormant customers. These customers don't interact with us, not even to unsubscribe. Well, it's a good thing that they don't unsubscribe from us, but also at the same time, that's not capturing value. So for these types of customers, we really want to focus on a win-back strategy, meaning we can offer them discounts to really start getting them engaged. And then we have the engaged customers. These are customers who's been interacting with us consistently, making purchases, and not likely to unsubscribe. So these are essentially our loyal customers. So for these customers, we can offer them membership opportunities or even just continue our current strategies because it looks like it's been working out really well for them. And then finally, we have people who are in the middle and somewhat undecided. This is the group that has the highest chance of unsubscribing, and this is the group that we need to pay the most attention to when it comes to managing unsubscriptions. So for this group, we could really focus on creating a more welcoming onboarding journey for them so that they feel really empowered to start engaging with us. So now on to the next big question, which is analyzing email open rates to try to determine the optimal email sending schedule and strategies. So after emails are being sent, around 64% of open emails are being opened within the first 24 hours, and 81% of them are open within the first 48 hours. And then if we take a look at the optimal or the peak email open times, this happens from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. So right around lunchtime is when people start to check their inboxes. And then if we analyze the days out of the week in terms of their open rates, so first notice that Kimmel actually sends out most of their emails on Mondays. But what we saw that's interesting is that email open rates is actually more well distributed across different days out of the week. So the main takeaway here is to make sure to send out emails right around lunchtime so that you're the first thing in people's inboxes when they start checking. But it's also a good idea to experiment with different days of the week when it comes to sending out emails and see if any specific days would correlate with the higher email open rates. And next, we also did some text analysis to analyze its impact on open rates. So this is a graph showing open rates versus the number of words in the subject line. So we can see that the open rates actually decreases with the higher or with the more words you have in your subject line. So this is very insightful. It really highlights, the importance of being concise when it comes to email subject lines. And then we also noticed that email campaigns that featured a more personal tone, such as bring your Broadway experience to a whole new level, is correlated with a 15% higher chance of being open. And so this shows us that it's really helpful to utilize those personal pronouns and having a more personalized tone in general when it comes to email marketing. And then on the flip side, we noticed that email campaigns that mention specific words like offers, prices, promotions, and are in general 10% less likely to be open. And so this really shows that it's important for us to package our emails in a way that's less promotional sounding, even if by nature it is indeed a promotional email. So then on to our final big question, which is customer clustering. So we use k-means clustering, which is an unsupervised machine learning algorithm that essentially groups similar items together in forms of clusters. And we use the elbow method to determine the optimal number of clusters that really strikes the balance between cluster homogeneity and also at the same time not having too many clusters. And with that, we are able to come up with 4 distinct customer segmentations. And we're also able to come up with very specific customer profiles and even cartoon illustrations so that you can get a good understanding of what each customer type looks like. So first we have Winnie the Winbag. So for Winnie, she started with us since 2021, so relatively new customer. She made 4 purchases, but in general, the level of interactions and purchases remained relatively low. So for Winnie, we really want to focus on a re-engagement campaign, meaning offering her discounts and emphasize promotion to try to get her started. It's also helpful to emphasize a sense of urgency or FOMO, fear of missing out, so that we really start getting interactions from her. And then we have Savannah, the selected subscriber. So this customer has been with us a little longer, but interestingly only made 1 purchase for a very specific show. So for Savannah, we really want to offer her very show-specific updates and maybe even offer her membership opportunities to capture her specific preferences and interests and make sure in the future we only market to her specifically tailoring towards her interests. And then we have Laddie Low, the loyal Low contributes. So for Laddie, she's been with us for quite a long time, made 12 purchases, but in general, the value still remained relatively low. So for her, we really want to offer loyalty programs to really encourage her to stay with us long term and start making those repeated purchases. And then last but not least, we have Leo High, the loyal High contributes. So Leo has been with us since 2017, made 89 purchases totaling $5,000. He's also a very avid fan of classical music, so probably frequent visitor to the Philadelphia Orchestra concerts. And so for him, we could really offer exclusive perks such as exclusive previews or VIP rewards to really make him feel valued as our loyal customer. But also at the same time, we don't need to spend too much additional resources on Leo since he's already been with us and already been engaging with us for quite a long time. So with all of these 4 distinct customer segmentations and the specific strategies tailored towards each of them, hopefully we can get all of Kimmel's customers to engage just like Leo High. And that brings me to the end of my presentation. Thank you so much for listening.